Okay, truth seekers. So AJ created an article with these blaring headline: "Maximum Global Bombshell. Judge orders," we just call it Peaser, "FDA to release documents. First doc dump says a bunch of people no longer living due to jab first month." So first, this individual who made a viral tweet, Gal Shalev, he starts off stating, "As ordered by the courts, the FDA must release the data it based its EUA for the Peaser shot." Now, the document he's going to show is not necessarily a document that was used for the EUA, because the document is basically surveillance data that was produced December through February of 2021, after the poke already received its EUA, which stands for Emergency Use Authorization. So here's a relevant screen cap of the doc. I'm gonna go ahead and link to the original doc. So keep in mind, Peaser had to release this doc under court order. So it's a cumulative analysis of post-authorization adverse event reports for the poke received through the 20th of February 2021. As you see, it's confidential. So I'll scroll to the relevant page, which is page 6. It is estimated that approximately an unknown number of doses of the poke were shipped worldwide from the receipt of the first temporary authorization for emergency supply on the 1st of December through 20th of February. Throughout this time, around the world, there were 42,086 case reports, 25,000 of those medically confirmed, 16,000 non-medically confirmed, containing 158,893 events. Most of these, 34,000, were from the United States. The other countries are listed. Overview: selected characteristics of all cases received during the reporting interval. So the thing to focus on here is case outcome. You have for fatal category, 1,223 cases through 20th of February 2021. Unknown, 9,400. Now the other categories of not recovered at the time of the report, recovered with sequelae, recovered. This information is important too, because these people were injured, they were harmed. But this number is the most important because it's representing people who, after the date February 28th, no longer on the earth, direct connection to the poke. Peaser aware. Again, this is an internal document, confidential, inside the company. They're aware that around the world, over 1,000 people gone. And then for the unknown category, 9,400. So what proportion of these 9,400 also gone? You just didn't know that. And here they divided up the number of different horrors that people experienced for different categories and subdivided them as non-serious versus serious. So they had all this data as well, saying that in general disorders, over 20,000 people developed serious issues. They noted that over 1,000 people developed tachycardia, which is something I was reading about a lot on Reddit. Mind you, by February, really only the very old and healthcare providers were getting the jab. I mean, it was rolled out generally, but it was just beginning that general distribution, still by age classification for many places around the world. I really don't have to go further. This is criminal. Attorney generals for several states need to impanel grand juries. Peaser needs to get trust busted. A manufacturer of selected products distributed to other companies and disbanded. I did a date range Google search for the period December 2nd through March 17, 2021, just to see what was being said. These are types of headlines you have for videos. U.S. health experts try to ease poke fears. You just have reports of people passing after they received the poke. This one is really interesting. You see that guy there? He was a Florida doctor who passed shortly after his poke. The wife said that there were spots on his arm, which represented spots of subdermal bleeding, most likely, because when he was seen in the hospital, he was determined to have really low platelets. The video goes on to say that the person passed 2 weeks after taking the poke. Expert believes it's not related. Here's a famous website known as Up to Date, which is relied upon by medical experts around the world. It describes the condition he died from. Poke-induced immune thrombotic thrombocytopenia. It's right there. That's what he died from. It's associated with the poke, even though expert at that time denied it. Usually articles in this site are paywalled, but this one actually is fully published for the public to see, and it describes the condition, how to evaluate it, how to treat it, and gives some apologetic answer at the end. one of the most controversial men of our generation, was flipping out about it today in his show. He recommended that everybody go to this certain website to share his video. I believe it's like Freedom TV. I'm not a financial advisor, but if you own Peaser stock, it's probably a good time to consider selling it. There was a poke for Rodavire that was available up to $19.99. It was ultimately withdrawn because 15 babies basically developed this condition called intussusception, which is where the bowel kind of like folds over itself. It's not necessarily fatal. It happened to only 15, but because of that, they decided to withdraw it. I just showed you with the FDA authorized internal documentation from Peaser that despite over 1 grand people, ending it all involuntarily, they kept going with the program because once you double down so much, you can only double down further. You can't withdraw. You have to keep going because as long as you can get the majority of the world to buy it, to eat it all up, you can change the Overton window and relieve yourself of future accountability. This is the time. This is the time of our lives. It's never too late to do something. The major difference between the time we were living now versus the time of World War II, 80 years ago, is that it's a different date in the calendar, different technologies available. People are fundamentally the same. The major issues that causes people to become corrupt has not really been solved in just these 80 years. So logically, really unbelievable things are bound to happen in these intervals or other intervals. That's all for now. Peace.